So I made an HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This little thing right here that was inspired by Mario Wonder. And it's got different images on the top. And in the game, it's like a checkpoint, but that is not important. That's kind of where the idea came from. We got all the code over here. I'm going to go through a little bit of it. But first, let me show you. So we have create standard and we have create random. So standard is just the red bottom and the yellow stick. And you can spam it, and it randomly chooses an image, one of 3 images. All right, so that's standard, and then create random. You see it makes random colors for the stick and the block. And instead of kind of going through all of the styling and all that, I made a button that removes the shadows. And you can see it's basically all shadows. So those are insets, those are drop shadows. Yeah, it's basically all over the place. It's fake lighting for the most part. And yeah, you can see how this looks terrible. I think it looks really good. So it takes it from flat to 3D. So right here we have size index. Size is 0.2, 0.27, and 0.35. So you can change the size. Those are large ones. We got tiny ones. And the reason I originally made these was because we have a shop on Etsy. It's called Jimmy Joom, and we sell custom widgets for Twitch streamers. So, for example, if you're a streamer on Twitch, your chat is typing all kinds of stuff in the chat, hopefully. And so now, this widget, I took it a step further than the code pen. And if it hears a certain word, so like, let's say someone says lol, it will create one of these standees with the LOL on it. Another one was LART. Even works with GIFs. And you can see it has my username, the Twitch username. So anyone who types in the chat, it will say who made that standee. You type in WTF, you get this guy. And there's even a thing called emotes on Twitch, and it even works for emotes. So you specify which ones you want to listen for, and you can see there. This is the chat, by the way. This part up here. So yeah, you see people type in chat, and if you type in one of the trigger words, then you get a standee. RIP, GG, ban. You get the idea. This is all streamer lingo, if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, so that's what this is made for. Now, you also see, like I said, you see the username, but there's also a smoke animation. It's very quick. You see a little puff of smoke animation. And I'm going to walk you through how I did that in the code pen. And it's frame by frame animation. So it's a sprite sheet. And this is the sprite sheet. If you're not familiar with sprite sheet animation, it just quickly shows each frame back to back to back, and when done quickly and when done right, it looks like an animation. So this is the first frame, it shows that, then this, then this, then this, and then it's gone. Yes, it's quick, but it works really well because my sprite sheet is 12.6 kilobytes. That's very tiny for an animation. So if I were to put that as a GIF or a video file, it'd be a couple megabytes. And if I'm loading that, you saw you can kind of spam the thing, and yeah, the sprite sheet is absolutely the way to go. So I'm gonna show you how I do that, but first I want to give a shout out to the video where I learned this right here. Drew Conley, sprite sheet animation tutorial, HTML, CSS. I learned it here, and it was fantastic. I'm going to bring back up the original Standee. This is where I did all of the work. What am I doing? All right, we got the image. That's the Standee image. We got the top rotator. Okay, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to make a div, and I'm going to call it smoke container. Okay, so it's in position. It's smaller than I want, but it's also in the back. We want it up front. Yeah, ahead of everything. Also, let's make it... so the frames are square. I always do square frames. Frames are square. That's why I'm making this 300 by 300. Okay. Actually, let me... this one. Okay, let me get this out of... Okay, so we got smoke container. It's looking good with the size. Actually, let's make it abnormally big. Let's make it. Let's see how it looks with that. All right, so the Standee is underneath container here, and now we're gonna add image. We're gonna call it smoke sprite, and the source will be all right. So I'm going to give it a height of 100%, because remember, each frame is a square. Okay, all right. It actually, so right now this is how I want it, but because I added classes, because I made it with a class, it does add a little curveball. So we're gonna have to put in this smoke container and the smoke sprite image below the top rotator. Okay, so it's at the very bottom. So that stuff should go away. Good. Let's create one. And that's actually very good. That's exactly what we had. So I'm going to take away the background. Okay, very good. Now let's get the animation going. All right, so in the same way that we got the rotator, I'm going to get the smoke sprite in the same way. So if I do const smoke sprite equals this dot element. Okay, we got the smoke sprite, and we want it to animate. We want the smoke to puff out right when the Standee hits the floor, which is at the end of this animation. So I believe if we do this, tl.2, and we're gonna animate the smoke sprite. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna animate the X. So right, the sprite sheet is right here. We want it to move to the left. And we want it to move to the left. Yes, negative 100%. Okay, so we want this. We want the sprite sheet to move negative 100%. But the key for this is in the easing. So here, I'll do it linear, and we'll do a duration of 2 seconds, and you'll see it's not correct. This symbol means to start the animation at the beginning of the one before it. Let's see how this turns out. Okay. So the timing is definitely off, but that's what we want with the animation. It might not look like it. That might look crazy, but the key is the ease. We're gonna do in GSAP, it's steps. And we're gonna give it a number of steps. Okay, so right now this is what we have. It's just moving right to left in a straight line, but we want steps. Sprite sheet frame right here. And then all of a sudden, it's just gonna flip to the next one, and it's gonna flip to the next one, and flip to the next one. And it's not, there's no linear interpolation. That is the key for this. And I believe, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames. So we have 7 steps. Let's see what we got. Okay. And you might be thinking, what are you talking about? That looks terrible. There we go. There you can kind of see it. So when we cut everything out, if we do overflow hidden, duration 2, let's just cut it in half. Starts too early. It's also too far up off the ground. So smoke container bottom, let's do -20 pixels. It's hard to tell with the timing. Okay, actually, let's just see. So if we don't put anything there for the timing, it's just gonna go at the end of this animation, which is actually what I think we want. I don't know why I did that before. Let's try to make it 1 second earlier. And also, if you saw, the problem is it should be not visible. Opacity should be 0. All right, getting closer. Let's say 1.3. Ah. Looks good, looks good. Still a little high up. That looks good. Looking good. All right, but let's get that opacity out. So how can we do that? So to start, let's have smoke container. All right, so it seems like I have the smoke smart. Let's get the smoke container. The container we're gonna grab. We're gonna make it 0. Okay, so I got a little crazy, but basically, so I took away, what was I doing that was messing it up? So right here, I did a from to, so the whole element, the Standee container, I did a from to, 0 opacity to 1, and also messing with other opacities, that messed it up. And didn't set the smoke container to 1, where did I put that? Right here. So that's very quick. At the right time, right before hitting, and I think it looks beautiful. So that is frame by frame animation mixed with just good old-fashioned HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript. And actually, so this little opacity battle I was having, this is the second time I've done it, and I had the exact same problem the first time. So you got to watch out. You got to remember what you put, what you like, how does everything start out? Does something start out at opacity 0? Are you animating it to opacity, full opacity? Are you setting it? Yeah, it kind of, there's a lot going on. It gets complex really quick. But there you go. Code pen will be in the description if you want to take a look, play around. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.